Yeah, maybe, but the racket will talk.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Racket Will Talk podcast. Can't figure out, again, I have to look up how many episodes we've done and therefore what episode number this is. Sam requested that, or Sam was concerned that we were becoming slam merchants, but I have to reassure everyone this is not actually a US Open podcast, preview podcast. We have technically started the US Open, although not if you ask me. This is our little chance to talk about the summer of mostly hard courts, but actually a lot of clay as well. But the summer swing kind of leading into the US Open, and then we'll do a proper US Open preview with maybe some power rankings in 1 or 2 days' time. very, very few days' time. But this is our chance to talk about the stuff that's gone on while we've been away, and obviously evidently sorely missed. I know I had thousands and thousands and thousands of messages in my personal inbox saying, "Where's the pod? You legally can't go on holiday."
Wait, so how many people actually asked you?
No, none.
None, really.
No.
I had two.
Yeah, I don't think I come across as approachable, and maybe they don't really like my contributions. Who asked you? We can cut this out if it's inappropriate.
No, it's people on Twitter. Okay. And I guess my sister as usual.
So it's 2 people on Twitter and your sister?
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 people. That's not bad. Okay. I'm going to take that as a shared thing. I'm going to take credit for that as well.
Sure.
No one asked. No one checked on me. In fact, I haven't spoken to anyone in 5 or 6 weeks.
Well, it's because you're out of your Twitter account until Naomi Osaka wins the slams. That's maybe an issue.
Yes. I'm not out of the account. I never said I wouldn't reply to messages. So, anyway, here we are for a recap of the swing so far. Well, not so far. Well, it is actually so far because we've got tennis in the land and Winston-Salem going on. I don't know, man. Since we last spoke to you, I've got a big list of all the tournaments that have gone on. Iasi, Los Cabos, Hamburg, Gstaad, Washington, Prague, Kitzbühel, Umag, Montreal, Toronto, and Cincinnati. So that's all that's happened. Some players have won those various tournaments. We're going to talk about players that we thought were kind of standout, relevant players over this swing, people who've had good results, people whose form is looking up, people who I personally am intrigued by their storylines going forward. So I'm going to start with someone I think we won't talk about in a US Open preview because realistically he is not in a place to challenge for the US Open, but he is someone I think we both care about and would like to talk about, and I think is worth talking about, Alejandro Davidovich-Fokina, because I watched maybe like 3 total hours of Washington, maybe not even that, and most of them were him having championship points and not taking them. And my very good friend messaged me after saying, he said something like, "Oh, I think this is worse than any Nadal loss." And I was trying to figure out what he was talking about, but then I remembered, oh, he's a really big Focky stan. And yes, we had a little bit of a discussion about what we think this means for his future chances, because he has now never won a title and lost twice this year having championship points. Like, what is that? How did you come back from that? What?
It's basically, I mean, both his worst case scenario and also like the only scenario that makes sense for him. So I mean, both of those matches he should have won. This one was probably even worse because it's both like a bigger match and a bigger final, literally, and also a match that honestly he seemed even more in control of. Maybe I mean it's probably comparable.
And I found the championship points saves to be far more comical, like cartoonish. The one that Davidovich he lost to Alex Dimonor, who just threw up a defensive lob, and it just brushed the line. Just like, at this point, Davidovich Fokina must think someone's looking down on him and going, like, you will not win this title. And I bring him up because I think he then lost another close match to someone good in Toronto, no?
He was playing Rublev, and it was a tight match, but then he didn't like close it out in two, and then he like retired midway through the. I mean, if we're talking about the story of his swings, that was it. He played that Washington final after actually great wins before that. He beat Fritz, he beat Shelton, really like quite convincingly. He was the best player of that tournament by quite a mile. Like even like considering the loss, I mean, he was playing the best tennis. He should have won the title, and that would have been like 3 top 10 wins. That was really quite a run. But then, he retired in both Canada and Cincinnati. Just fully, not washed, but like physically spent completely. Yeah.
Is he out of the US Open?
No, he'll play.
Okay, fine. It's not like a long-term injury.
No. I don't think he was like injured. He was just really, really exhausted.
Okay. Because I think this has also just been him the year in general. He's been like playing really, really high level, and just he can't get over the line either against the best players or like players in big matches. Yeah, really unfortunate, but I thought he was for me, he was the big draw of that Washington tournament, because I really like him and I think he's got such good tennis in him, but he is, much like Lyudmila Samsonova, he is not a good tennis player. That was my pick of the Washington on the men's. On the women's, I think there's the stories that started in Washington, and actually a lot of them went on for longer, were Elena Rybakina and Emma Raducanu, the ER duo. But they both had great results in Washington, and then overall throughout the swing. Any words on Rybakina? I know you're higher on her than I am.
I've been very impressed. She's been playing great, like in all 3 events really, in all Washington, Canada, and Cincinnati. She's showed really, really great tennis that honestly deserved better than semi-final. If we go through the list, she served twice, I think, against to beat Leila Fernandez in Washington. She served twice to beat Mboko in the Montreal semi-final. And in Cincy, she served for a set against Swiatek and lost that set in the match. So not quite as tragic, but still, an opportunity that she couldn't convert. And that's really what it came down to, because the tennis itself, it's been pretty amazing. And it's usually not, her favorite part of the season, at all. She had a decent Canada run before, but she tends to actually be spent just coming into these events, and then she always shows up in New York and plays terribly. And this year, maybe because she hasn't done as well in the first half of the year, she probably was fresher, and you could tell just serving great, hitting well, returning well even. It's really a run that reminds you how good she can be, and she's been really in the past few years or so.
Yeah, reminds some people a little bit too much, I think, or I don't know. When you're seeing a tweet saying Rybakina has been the best player of the decade, just been unlucky with injuries and such, you've got to say
that's not a serious take. I don't think.
I had to read it with my eyes. If it's not serious, don't put it in front of me.
That's fair.
And actually, the thing is, it was believable because of it's believable that might be a take. So, because of the way fans talk. If someone said that about Krejcikova, you'd know immediately it's a joke, even though actually they've got very, very, very similar palmarès, and Krejcikova's missed more. Anyway, we're not getting into this right now. Probably, maybe. If I had $1 for every time Rybakina served twice to beat a plucky Canadian this in the last month, I'd be able to buy whatever costs $2. One 1/75th of a honey juice.
Not much these days, unfortunately.
There we go. Takes. And then we'll obviously talk about Rybakina a lot more in the US Open preview, because I would think she's going to be a force. What's the word I'm looking for?
A threat.
A threat, potentially.
A factor.
A factor. That's the one I'm looking for. A factor. Yeah. When the guy whose second language knows more words than you. I told you guys I haven't spoken to anyone in 5 weeks. I think she's probably gonna be a factor. Even though I think she's never done well at all at the US Open, right?
No, it's her worst. I checked today. It's her worst slam by a country mile. Mm-hmm. I don't think she's even made a fourth round, which is pretty shocking for someone of her caliber. Mm-hmm. I guess.
Yeah, she's Tsitsipassing.
Yeah.
Previously, she was in last years. She was kind of Tsitsipassing in that she was so cooked by this part of this season, which is usually how Tsitsipas comes into this part of the season. For different reasons. Another part on Rybakina, some pretty bad news that I think probably went under the radar a bit because everyone's so exhausted with being so outraged and angry by it. The WTA for some reason have desuspended Vukov.
Yes, they have, and I don't know why they couldn't just at least keep him banned for the years they said they would. But beyond that, it's just, I don't know. This whole thing is tough, and I think there is no, as much as, we've talked about it a bunch, we sympathize with Rybakina and with this situation, and we know that sometimes people are simply just not able to honestly think for themselves in those type of situation, when they've pretty much been abused and have been relying on one person to an extent that's just not healthy at all. But beyond that, it's just the only victim here is someone who is just backing him up whenever she can at every single point. I mean, I'm sure that they have asked her a bunch how she feels about the whole thing, and it's just, she just denies everything. She just says no, she's never done anything wrong, it's all perfect. Why? And actually she probably was just angry that the WTA was in her business in this way. Mm-hmm. And when that's the situation, I mean, there is only so much they can do, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we're all quite aware that they had been working together behind the scenes anyway. Her coach was kind of a proxy coach for him, so everywhere where they were allowed to be together, as far as we know, he was still coaching her on all the practice courts, etc. I think maybe I missed this. I think that there was could have been a reason why, it doesn't have to be the full reason, but some sort of statement that goes out with, we've removed his suspension because, and it could be a pretty bullshit reason, and I'm sure everyone would disagree with it, but I don't know, I feel like just doing it just like that with nothing. Did I miss a statement?
No, I don't think anything actually came out, it was just we found out not through the WTA, but through the Athletics or something, another media, and that was it. I mean, I guess Rybakina was asked about it, and she just basically said what she always says. Oh yeah, it's good he's back. The team is back together. Basically, pretty much saying like nothing was ever wrong anyway. So yeah, it's just, and now he's just back. And his really really loud mouth, was being picked up by the mics in Cincy. So pretty much the same he's always been. And I mean,
and someone praised, one of the commentators apparently praised him for being able to communicate with her anyway, and it created a kind of unfortunate situation where I was really rooting for her not to do well that week because of how like fucking dreadful that would be for him to come back on. We know this isn't how coaching works, but this is how it sometimes looks to people, for him to come back on and her to immediately win another title, and then everyone gets to be like, look, this is what she was missing all along, and the WTA were taking this away from her, blah blah blah, all this. So it kind of it means that it's hard to even want the best for her tennis. I mean, like, I'm not a huge fan, but sometimes I do wish that she could do well, because I don't know. I don't always wish that she'll do badly, basically. But in this particular situation, I was really not wanting that because of anyway. But yeah, she'll certainly be a factor in the US Open. We'd expect. Other players worth mentioning, in my opinion, the big story, I think, the biggest story, and actually the most feel-good story of the swing, the kind of most enticing one, and the one with the most cut-through as well. I was seeing this on Instagram pages that aren't like specific tennis ones, was the 18-year-old. Is she 18?
Yeah.
Yeah. Victoria Mboko winning Montreal. How... Yeah, she's Canadian, she's a teenager, she came from qualifying?
Nope, she had a wild card.
No? She was in the... Oh, wild card, of course. She got a wild card. She saved a match point against Rybakina in the semi-final, and then she obviously beat Naomi in the final. That was... that was incredible. I mean, we haven't had a magical moment like that. It's probably since Raducanu.
Do you think so?
I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah,
something
I guess that's
quite
true.
like that, Because I think, to me, it felt quite similar to the Bianca era.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But that was in Indian Wells. Like, Bianca's biggest one was in Indian Wells, and it was, I think, being able to do that for the first time in Canada, like, it felt huge, and the crowds,
it's genuinely, it's the type of like noise and like frenzy that you only ever hear at slams when local players is playing. Like I feel like I hadn't ever like heard that. Oh, maybe in like Paris-Bercy actually. Sometimes you can get that vibe, like really like rowdy, and it's the whole thing, and you feel like it can actually be a factor in matches, which is actually quite rare in tennis. People talk about like crowds a lot in tennis. I actually think it's very rare for a crowd to be like loud enough and like committed enough to factor into a match like whatsoever. I think it's actually very rare. But this time you could make an argument that it really like propped her up in many ways, and maybe made the opponents a bit more wary of the whole situation.
Yeah, because I don't know if this is the same as the case in tennis, but in competing in sport, all of my competing in sport I've ever done is so strange, because you really can't hear the crowd unless it is overwhelming. Like, you're so kind of focused in. I'd always have like my family would say, "Oh, did you hear us cheering for you?" And you're like, you feel a bit mean, but you're like, no, because you can't hear any of that unless it is like deafening. And I think, like you said, for players to be affected by it, it has to be really, really like overwhelming. It has to break through that kind of natural barrier of focus and like being committed to doing the sport. The bit that I really liked, I think kind of sums up the phenomenon, was that in Toronto they're playing the men's final, right?
Yeah.
It was the final, and like a few games in, it was quite early on, the crowd just started sort of not quite erupting, it was like a slow build, I think, right? Because they found out
but it was actually disruptive enough that they just had to stop,
the players were all looking around like, what's going on?
Yeah, and you know what's funny? Literally, like around that time, I was seeing a lot of Olympic content, and there were a bunch of different events at the Olympics that were also disturbed in the similar way when Léon Marchand was winning a bunch of races, literally multiple events at the same time, stopped, and because people were cheering so loud for an event that was just all the way across the city, and that vibe, something so huge that it can actually disturb the event that people are actually at, so that was also quite nice and quite big.
Yeah, and we've mentioned Mboko kind of on and off throughout the year because she has been, as much as this is no one apart from Josh was predicting it. No one was seriously predicting this particular result. She hasn't been. It's not a complete out of nowhere. She's earned it, right? She's earned her way up the rankings throughout the season. She started at 300 something. Mm-hmm. Good wins, good matches against Coco. So it does feel, for me, it's the perfect way for a young teenager to have that moment, in that they've had to work for it. They've kind of earned their stripes in a way, but you do still get that magical thing of
Yeah, I mean, we knew who she was. We had our eyes on her already for quite a bit, for quite a few months. And we knew she dominated on the ITF Tour, very early on in the year. I mean, I think she if we consider all levels, she's probably top 3 in wins on the year, which is really noteworthy. And it's not even just playing a bunch of matches; it's just winning so much. Her win rate, I think, is really excellent if you take all events into consideration as well. So yeah.
Yes, I had a. I can't find the tweet because I don't know what I tweeted with it, but I posted at some point there was a thing of how many matches she'd won in a row in the ITF, being and I earlier on this year, maybe March time, maybe a bit earlier, being wow, that, because I do genuinely believe when you're that dominant at a lower level, you're ready for the next level. I think people think there's a bigger gap than there is. Mm-hmm. If you're winning 20 matches in a row, whatever, we saw it with Andreeva as well. And I'm sure hundreds of players in the past, maybe not hundreds, but lots of players in the past, that you're good enough to be part of the higher level and to be pretty decent at that level. So yeah, incredible. What do you think, just a little bit about her game, what do you think makes her good? Because there's been a bit of discussion about that right now.
I mean, what's impressive for someone so young is that everything is at least pretty good. It's not I don't think there's a huge standout weapon, one shot that's that's the Anissimo backhand, that it's just overwhelmingly good shot that has no comparison. There's nothing like that really. I mean, the backhand is also her best shot by quite a stretch, I would say. But everything is good, The service is actually quite good for young players. That's always what you look out for,
The first serve.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. The first serve is quite good. It can be pretty big, pretty precise, and she can rely on it in some big moments. Second serve, not quite there.
I'm kind of not, of what I was watching of her in Canada, I'm not convinced she has a second serve. It's not a fully ready thing. It's kind of a winging it, I'll hit a serve, but it'll be a bit slower type thing. Yeah. I mean, the double faults were a huge issue in Montreal, and if that would have been her downfall at many of these points, because she sometimes hit quite a few of them in inconvenient places. But yeah, I agree. I think the movement's really good as well.
It is, yeah. She's very fast actually, just explosive as well. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. So super exciting, and I was, as awful as that final was to endure, I was very, very, very happy for her, because she just comes across as such a nice girl, a really exciting prospect on the tour. I love a plucky young Canadian. And obviously, yeah.
Personality-wise, I think she's actually pretty different from the other plucky Canadians,
Yes, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's interesting to me, because I feel like she's been described that way, and it's never really fully made sense to me. Like, sure, like she was celebrating at times. She was like really like intense, had a lot of like composure, but mostly that was it. It wasn't like, oh, she was like commanding all over the place and like super. She wasn't Andrescu out there. That wasn't the vibe. But just this like really steely and like strong character that it feels like you don't really expect that from younger players. Like usually, if anything, if there's something noteworthy about like the demeanor, it's really like really intense and like really sometimes maybe a bit much for some people, like commenting on like every point and all of that. She's not like that, and even in press she's very grateful, she's very happy, she seems pretty chill, I think it's interesting to me. Like even the speech after like winning easily the biggest week of her life, it's like she's happy, she's taking it in, but it's not this like explosion of like joy and like disbelief, So it's also a sense of this is something I can do, It's something I feel like to an extent that's where I belong as well.
Yeah, I do 100% agree, and I don't see shades of Bianca or Layla in her at all. I think as much as I don't like doing like personality analysis or like putting very much weight on that kind of stuff, because I think it's pretty bullshit. Like, look at the two best players in the world on the women's side. They are very, very, very different in their personalities and their demeanors and how they approach the game and their temperaments. Yeah. But I do think you're right in that thing of like she feels quite grounded and like, I don't want to say normal, but like, steady. Yeah. I think, and I do think that suggests like a nice, healthy career as well. Not that like, oh, Bianca's injury had been caused by her personality or any of that's not what I'm not what I'm trying to suggest. But I think it feels good for Vicky. Oh, I really like her. She just come across as so nice as well. Speaking of speeches, do you want to?
I mean,
I have I have something to say more generally, which is like, and I think people have mentioned this before. Do you have to do runners-up speeches? Like, not. I think the thing that people say is that like no other sport ever makes the loser speak.
I think. Maybe it's just because we've been so used to it, I'm just imagining, like a trophy ceremony, like as we have them, and the like runner-up like just not speaking. I feel like it would feel maybe a bit harsh or a bit weird as well. So, like, I agree, it's awkward, it's difficult, and sometimes it's pretty like harrowing actually. Some runner speeches are because. Their dreams have been crushed or whatever. But it's... I can't really imagine what else we could do, I guess.
Okay, yeah. I know, and I fucking love the attention being on me. If I'd just come runner-up at Wimbledon and they didn't hand me the mic, I'd be rioting, trying to steal it off them and get my moment. But I don't know, like, it always feels that I feel like the Australian Open has like a nice amount of time, because there seems to be a lot of other people who come on and do their little yapping. It feels like there's a nice amount of time before the loser has to speak, and I think sometimes these slightly smaller tournaments, because they're not building an entire stage and they don't have all the sponsors having to come on and speak for half an hour about their company, it feels like it's like, right, you lost, you can put your racket away, have a little drink, and then you come up and talk into the mic. It does feel like that period is quite brief. And like, this was not a good advert for runners-up speeches this tournament. It wasn't a great advert for Naomi.
Yeah, and I guess it's the year of difficult runner-up speeches. Sabalenka famously also had a big one, so to say.
Yes.
But
and she's had to make a lot as well.
That's true.
So you thought she'd have been practiced by then.
She's really pretty good at them.
No, so I thought she was excellent in Australia. So this is the thing, is that like I don't think there exists like someone who is a great runners-up speecher, a great loser. Federer had loads of nasty bitter interviews and things like that after losing. Like, I think it's gonna, if you lose enough, probably there'll always be a moment like that. And in this case, it was quite obvious that something happened to Naomi that was, I'm not going to go as far enough to like diagnose her, which is some people are trying to do, but it was extreme.
It's, I mean, leading into the match itself, it's very just strange what happened, you know, like she started playing great and she really had that match within reach and she was in control of it, you know. It's not like, suddenly the whole match changed, like it was still the same match that she was playing, you know, and she still had like loads of opportunities to try and take it, but I don't know. It's hard to say she gave up, but like she lost something, like mentally, in that moment. It's very strange.
I think it felt like a tantrum or like she was sulking or something like that. But I really did think she'd get over it because it's such a weird place. So there was this. She won the first set quite easily because Mboko was playing quite badly, and then there was this line call that she didn't agree with, and she got really angry at that. And then it seemed like that she was in a bit of a huff because of that. But then you still think, you know, she'd take her time to say, okay, that's that. Maybe you get your serve broken, whatever. But you're still in the lead, and she had so much time in that match to stop doing whatever it was that she was doing. And she never came back. And Mboko gave her chances. I think was the second set where she gifted her a break back when she was serving for it. So many chances, and the way she just stayed in that state, really bizarre. And I don't know whether this is like a pattern to be concerned about. Oh, this is now what we could expect if she ever puts herself in that kind of situation again, or whether it's like, this is a learning moment, and from now on, I'm not going to behave like that, or I'm going to make sure my brain and body don't do that at that point. And it, super, 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 super weird. I was in bed like trying to hold my eyes open because it was so bloody late.
I kept falling asleep trying to watch Canada matches, like many times.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think maybe we'll talk a bit about what it might mean for her tournament in the US Open, like in that preview. But I'm in a really weird place because you should look at this week and say, how great, how excited we should be.
Best week for her in 3 years, literally. You know, that's where we were, and it's just, it's such, honestly, quite a disaster for her. That you're like, well,
it's the only way you could take that result and like plummet it in its value so quickly, right?
Yeah, literally, if she was like a tight 3-setter or whatever, she was a bit unclutched, I would be like, you know, it's fine, happens. Big final, big result, great week, whatever. Boom, we move on. But no, it was this like catastrophe, you know, and it felt like that, and it seemed like she perceived it that way too. So it's like, well, yeah.
Yeah, even if it were like, I'm sorry, even if it were a 6-love, I might be like, right, disaster, but that's not happening again. I can't be confident that this won't happen again and this won't keep informing future matches. And it's weird, right? Because she saved these match points. It was multiple match points against Samsonova in the first round.
Yeah, I think it was. Yes, I mean Samsonova was serving for it in the second, and she was up like 40-15. Right. I think that's what it was.
So thank God to Samsonova's unique set of skills of being one of the chokiest chokers on tour. People still don't acknowledge that, but it is true. Naomi kind of did feel like she was playing on, you know, with that. What is that like? She had like a lifeline. Yeah,
and she used it, and she started playing better after that. You know, she was returning way better, which was obviously the big issue, and up until that point. You know, like she was serving pretty well, but still like getting broken once, and Samsonova was just like rolling through service games because Naomi this year just not returning well, and that changed for like basically the rest of the tournament. So that was really huge moment, and people talked about it. So like, oh, maybe this is a result that can like turn the year around, and that was really the narrative that was building, you know, match after match, you know, good win after good win. It's like, well, she's here, you know, like this is what we've been waiting for, and yet and now it's like, well, I don't know.
the mental thing I'm finding confusing this year. I mean, like we were talking about it with the losing close matches earlier on. Like, it's so strange. It's so strange how people's like DNA can sometimes seem to change. You know, what we thought we knew about Naomi seems to just not be true anymore. You know, she used to be excellent once it came to the pointy end of tournaments and in finals and things like that. Yeah, super strange. All we can do is like wait and hope that she gets in that kind of situation again. She pulled out of Cincinnati, as did Mboko, so we can't know where they are before we see them in the US Open. I will say she looked like happy, I guess, in the mixed doubles exhibition thing. Yeah, I will be calling it an exhibition.
Yeah, she was chilling. She showed up in her pajamas basically, which I love that for her.
That was crazy because like if she played today, if they kept winning and they made the final, would she still be wearing a fucking oversized t-shirt and lifting a Grand Slam trophy in that?
I guess. I don't know. But yeah, no, I'll also be looking out for her press conference, which I assume she will have in the coming days, just to get a feel of her, I guess.
And the weird thing also off of that, she's seeded now at the US Open, so it was like, you know, there were all these like kind of positive announcements and positive things that seemed to come out of it.
She was so happy about that,
the
you know.
Vibes were
like the seeding thing had its own like Instagram post. She was like, yeah, finally, you know, I'm seeded. She's so happy because she had all these like bad draws at Slam. It really was this big goal for her, and yet no, it's like, well, I don't know.
I do know who she'll be drawing though. I've seen it. I know the US Open tamper with their draws, like no question in my mind.
Do you mean Venus Williams?
She is.
Do you mean Venus?
No.
Oh, what do you mean?
She's playing Emma Raducanu in the first round.
Oh. Let's put a pin in that.
I'm calling it now. Whoever draws Emma Raducanu in round 1 of the US Open is winning the tournament.
That's what it will take for you to be able to tweet again.
Yeah, and I thought I was so excited. I was like, the reason I continued on with this bit was that she started doing really well, and I was like, okay, maybe she will actually win the US Open, and I could then have this great comeback.
Just for context, for the like 2 people who don't know us from Twitter, Charlotte tweeted on her main account that she would not tweet until Naomi Osaka won a Slam. So it's been like 15 days, I think.
No, it's 4 days short of a month.
Oh wow, it's been almost a month.
Yeah, it's because it was right before I went on holiday, and I was like, you know, I probably won't be tweeting anyway, so maybe I could just, you know, let the fans see what they're missing. I actually didn't think anyone would read it, but then for some reason loads of Sinner fans were in the quotes, like super happy about the fact they would never have to see me again. And then I started watching her nearly win a 1000. I was like, okay, fine, yeah, okay, let's keep at it. But now I think that's that for my... Anyway, other bits to mention. Jessica Pegula's 31 years old. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but I want to say it's starting to look like it, maybe. I mean...
Well, it's starting to look like she's old.
I don't know about old, but this perhaps is the moment you've been waiting for. When it's I mean, I don't know if you actually were planning on talking about her, but it's worth mentioning. Bad form, like bad form for her. This is her best stretch of the year usually. Canada, she was twice defending champion, and she barely like won a match, or like she won one match and then lost the next. It's been...
Who did she lose to? Do you know?
I don't remember, but like not a good loss at all. Like really not like a sneaky good player or whoever. No, it was like that's terrible. Actually, it was Sevastova. No. Yeah, it was.
That's shocking.
It's and then literally Sevastova showed up on court against Naomi and won like one game. So horrible, actually, like bad loss. And then Cincinnati, she didn't do much better, and now it's like, well, have we reached that time when the Pegula moment has ended somehow?
I said, I bet my life on it. She's never ever going to win a Slam. And I think we're in the clear. We've got maybe
Mixed doubles.
2 more.
Mixed doubles. She's coming. She's playing well.
That doesn't count.
Mm.
I will not be. That would be an insane. Imagine if I had, because she hasn't even won a slam, and she's got like 3 runners up, 1 mixed doubles runners up, 1 doubles runners up, 1 singles runners up. So I'm kind of safe right now for across all disciplines. If she wins this fucking sham tournament, no, Iga and Casper are gonna do the business for me. Kind of other sort of relatively notable players. I mean, Alexander Bublik won 2 clay tournaments in a row and has not played since.
He got
Like,
his points.
we don't
I
know.
guess. He had a newfound passion for clay, clearly, and he made the most of it.
yeah. And then said, oh, I'm not going to go to that weak as shit 1000 where they're handing out wins to Alexei Popyrin every year. No, I'll give it a miss. He probably could have won that.
No.
You don't. No, you're super high on Shelton. Is there anything you want to say about him?
Yeah. The whole week I was actually expecting a Fritz win, because in my mind, when you ask like, okay, so Sinner, Alcaraz, Djokovic not there, who can rise to the occasion and be that like fourth best man? In my mind, actually, on faster surfaces, that's Fritz, and or Zverev sometimes, but lately no, not at all. I really thought it would be Fritz, but actually Shelton showed up, which ever since he played a great match against Alcaraz at Alger, I'd be like, well, maybe something has changed, and maybe he's actually doing more than just serving really well, and
Did anything change, or had you just not watched him that much before?
something changed.
Okay.
I think he's
So
actually
you were
improved.
watching him all the way up until Roland Garros?
No. No, I wouldn't, go out of my way to watch Shelton on play
Yeah.
usually. But
So I feel like he probably, I don't know, he's been like decent, maybe slightly improving, but I don't know if that like.
oh yeah,
was,
no, I don't know if it's like this specific match like unlocked something or something. I wouldn't go as far, but like I mean he was the biggest test for Alcaraz until Sinner, really. Like by quite a good distance. Like I thought he was like way better than Musetti, who is still also won a set and stuff. But yeah,
he was injured.
but yeah, and I thought that was a nice way to prove that maybe something has changed, and maybe he'll want to be the one like leading the charge when the actual best players in the world are like not in town or something, or like sick or whatever.
It felt like it was coming though for him. I think like having seen Draper win a 1000, even Menchik, Ben Shelton probably had to feel like, I'm here. And he also definitely is a guy who takes his opportunities, right? He's not he's not an 100 of Fekina.
She is quite literally the opposite, like every single opportunity of like any kind at like any level anywhere, he will be there, he'll rise to it. He still had to win like 3 third set tie breaks, so it's not like he was like dominating the field or anything, but showed up in big moments, played well.
Who were his wins there? I know he beat Hachanov in the final.
Yeah, it was Hachanov, and before that it was like Cobolli actually, and then another one.
They had an on-off.
Yeah. Oh yeah, true. The Fritz win was actually quite dominant, which I was super impressed with. But there was another one, I don't remember which one.
Quickly before we'll talk about this properly, but 4th favourite for US Open?
Still Fritz, I think. Fritz.
Really? I find that, yeah, I think that's interesting because I could imagine a very unlikely and strange situation where Shelton beats Alcaraz at the US Open. An off Alcaraz. We haven't seen an off Alcaraz much this year, but If there's a slightly dodgy Alcaraz, I feel like Shelton could, as we said, take advantage of that. I just think Fritz, like any of those top three guys, like there's just like no way he beats them ever.
So you think there's like a bigger ceiling maybe to Shelton?
Yeah, and more kind of probably a higher ceiling and more like chaos.
Yeah,
potentially
like
as well.
less predictable.
In the way that like Tiafoe played a great match against Alcaraz and maybe could have had, it was close to having enough chaos to beat him. Yeah. Anyway, that'll come in the future. Good for Ben Shelton. I don't hate him. I don't know. I do hate his like. I think he's got like terrible politics and stuff, but I don't know. I don't have that like pure, unadulterated anger when I see him doing well that I do with a lot of players. Like just randomly, you know, you can't choose what your heart desires. Yeah, but like probably still the ATP is not in a good place because Karen Khachanov was in a 1000 final, so yeah. Luciano Dardieri won 2 titles. I'm sure no one knew that because I still don't fucking know who he is. He won 2 titles in the space of a month.
Quite shameful. Probably like that's the issues with me here, but I'm not sure actually know what he looks like. So.
Yeah, we still have no idea. You know what, the US Open should do a lineup where they put a bunch of random Italian guys and then they get huge tennis fans to come in and pick out which one is Luciano Dardieri.
I have an easier time picturing Bellucci, I think.
Yeah, you know, we talk about him a lot. He's way better. What else happened? Louis Boisson got the best trophy I've ever seen.
Yay. No, I mean, I actually saw quite a bit of that.
Do you remember the trophy, though?
It was like
It was a shipping container.
Oh, that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she played decently well. Like, not great, honestly. I think she was playing better in Paris. But basically the best way to back that title up. I think she's still like way worse on not play, so this was like her last chance to have another good week before like maybe March of next year or something.
Do you think she's like no good off clay right now?
She's maybe like top 80 or something, but
Okay.
probably not much better
And on clay?
like top 15.
What? You think she's a top 15 clay player?
Yeah.
You think, okay.
That's not that shocking.
That is shocking. That's shocking.
No, why?
Yeah. Iga, Sabalenka, Coco. Okay, Rybakina.
Yeah.
Anisimova. I'm putting her in there. For some reason, I don't know why. Who else plays tennis? Andreeva. Who else plays tennis?
Paulini.
Paulini.
Yeah.
And also the woman who won the Olympic gold.
Zhang.
Qinwen. Yeah.
Pegula.
Oh, no.
She's definitely top 15 on play.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. T?
Anyway, we're at... Huh?
Yeah. So
Okay, so it's... What's this? 8?
yeah, it is.
Okay. Right, so maybe she's the 9th best.
From not top 15 to 9, so she got a
No,
little
because
bit
I don't think she is, but I literally just cannot name other players right now. The next one I was thinking of was Kudermetova.
No. Boisson's definitely better than her. Yeah.
No, I know. But she, yeah. Raducanu.
No.
No. But Emma Raducanu had a very, very eventful swing. And she is someone I thought very worth talking about because much to my chagrin, she is fucking back. Like, she's so good. I think I'm super scared of her. I was so scared at Wimbledon, and I thought maybe it would go away because I thought the nationalism was just flowing through her body and, you know, taking her to a higher level, and maybe there'd be something soon that kind of meant I wouldn't have to worry about her for a bit. But she's like just consistently very decent. Very good, actually. I'm going to say very good. She was in the semi-finals of Washington, and then Who did she lose to in Canada? Or she missed it?
I don't quite remember. I think she's pretty. She lost Sabalenka in Cincinnati. That I know for sure.
So the notable thing was the Sabalenka match in Cincinnati, which was fucking terrible.
Yeah, no,
close match.
Sabalenka keeps kind of like making her look great somehow. You know, like Sabalenka is like somehow raising the stocks of Raducanu, even though she's still beating her. You know, she's.
Yeah. It's who else had this? You know, it's Yannick.
Oh yeah.
When Yannick kept playing those close matches against Carlos.
Well, she was actually beating him quite a bit. So.
Okay, fine. There are cases of this, and I do think you should pay attention to players who play tight matches against good players. I think Mukova's always done this throughout her career, even when she hasn't been great and like good enough to beat players. She's played tight matches against the elite. I think this is a concern. I think people should be very worried. Maybe not for the US Open, and I do think we have a far more capable and stable top of the game now than we did when she won the US Open before. But I'm going to make a bold claim now and say that Raducanu will win a second Grand Slam in her career.
Wow. No, I think it's possible.
I think she's really good. Like, you know, I was hating on Naomi during Washington, but actually, Emma was very good.
I have a good question then. So, who's likelier to win the second slam between Raducanu and Rybakina?
That's it. I'm gonna just give it to Rybakina, but I think it's a yes for both of them.
Interesting.
I think. How do I put this? If it happens for both of them, Rybakina will win it first. Right? Okay.
Probably.
But I do think Emma has a longer window. I mean, she's slightly younger, but also like
she's quite a lot. She's quite a lot younger. She's quite a lot younger than Rybakina.
Really?
At least like 4 years.
Oh, okay. You know what I found out yesterday? Musetti's 22.
Yeah.
I'm sorry he's been 22 for 4 to 5 years.
Well, maybe that's because she has a family of 6 or whatever.
It's crazy that he is 4 years younger than me. He's bloody good. Anyway. Okay, the point is Raducanu's got more time, but also I think like Rybakina's kind of in the middle of her peak. Like she might go on for quite a long time, but she's had a lot of years of opportunities, and I think that this is how I think about this a lot more than other people think about it, or I think about it in a different way to the way other people think about it. If a player has had lots of opportunities and they haven't won yet, I think that they're not going to win yet, even though they keep having opportunities. So I look at Pegula and say, everyone says, oh no, she's been there or thereabouts for 3 years. That to me says, right, she's not winning it. She's not winning one. If you take someone who you think has potential but hasn't put themselves in the position very often, or hasn't been able to be in that position, I always think that they're more likely, because you don't know what's going to happen in that scenario. So like in the extreme case, you take Rublev. This guy's not winning a slam. He might not even get to a slam semi-final.
She can't even do it in mixed doubles.
Well, no, because he was with Mukova that time, so we're not going to say anything bad about him. But I think how people behave and the results that they have when they are frequently put in that position is more telling than the fact that they're able to frequently get in that position, because you only need one Grand Slam quarterfinal to have one Grand Slam title, right? You can be a player who has one career Grand Slam quarterfinal and one career Grand Slam title.
Yes,
there's not many of them.
Yeah, I don't think there are actually any. I mean, Raducanu is one.
Well, Raducanu
so far. No one else.
Maybe not. No. Okay. Fine. But the point is that there's like similar other scenarios in Bianca.
True. That's crazy.
It's crazy. I think she has like only 2 second weeks. The point is like someone might be excellent at taking their opportunities. Someone might be great at creating opportunities but not good at taking them, you know. Davidovich-Fokina's probably had more championship points in his career than Dardieri, but Luciano Dardieri has 4 titles. And I still don't know what he looks like. Anyway, what was the point?
About opportunities and, you know...
yeah, but where did we originally start off at? I think Raducanu is great. Yeah. And I think she will... I don't know. I think she'll... By the end of next year, I think she'll be in the top 10. Like, if she has a decently clean, injury-free-ish year, I think she's finishing in the top 10.
Big prediction, actually. Okay.
Is it? Okay.
I think I know.
Well, I could not name 10 players right now, so...
Well, that's maybe part of the problem. Okay.
Anyone else was kind of standout or interesting in any way, even if they were for the wrong reasons? I think Coco set a record for the most unforced errors hit.
Yay! I mean, it's been bad, you know. I mean, yeah. I guess better than her grass season because she's won matches. Sometimes won matches hitting like 20 double fault. So,
do you know how she wins matches?
Yeah.
How?
She plays bad and she drags the opponent down.
Okay. Because I thought I had it. I don't know. I thought I had it sussed, but every time I'm surprised.
Yeah.
By just how she does it.
I think her wins in Cinti were like clean-ish, like pretty good. Because she was.
What was the one where it was like 80 unforced errors? Everyone was posting the stats screenshots.
Against Collins, I think. No.
Okay.
Yeah. In Canada.
Right. Yeah, but on that, you know, immediately after losing, who did she lose to?
Yeah, and then she lost to. So it was probably in Cincinnati, and then probably someone like not good in Canada.
Were you gonna say even worse?
No, I wasn't say that. No.
Yeah, you were. Even worse than Paolini. Anyway, immediately after losing the match that Coco lost, she sent a little TikTok DM to Sabalenka, and she said, "Hey, girl, what's the name of that biomechanic guy who fixed your serve?" And Sabalenka said, "I don't fucking know." And then she asked someone else, and she eventually found out.
Oh no! She lost to Mboko, so
in Canada.
Yeah, but she got like destroyed. That was like the embarrassing part, I guess.
Yes, I remember. And then who was it in Cincinnati?
Paolini,
yeah, okay, yeah, because she's 3-0 against her this year. Anyway, Coco hired this biomechanic guy, Gavin.
Yeah.
Off of fixed Sabalenka's serve and changed her life.
And I was very surprised. I thought, you know, they worked on that serve in like 23 or something, and then like never saw each other again. But no, he's still been with her at like slams for like the past several years, and I just didn't know about it. But so I guess she dumped him or he dumped her because it was time to go change Goff's life or something.
Yeah. He probably thinks he can push his stock up by fixing someone else,
I guess. And Sabalenka hasn't won a slam in a while, so he's like, I don't want to play with you anymore.
yeah, exactly. And maybe higher offers. We don't know what goes on with this kind of stuff, but yes, Coco fired her 2 coaches who I honestly didn't know who they were.
It was only actually one coach. Okay. It was initially reported that she fired both, but no, she fired one, then kept the other, and added that biomechanic guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, as Sam says, she's about to get her new coach boost and probably going to win the US Open.
I mean, no, but she.
What? How long did it take between the? No, I think it was immediately after she hired Brad Gilbert and the guy who looks like Chris Hemsworth.
But no, well, it was Washington though.
Yeah. So, but she won that, right?
Yeah, but
so she won the first tournament, and then she won the first tournament after the new. So it is the next tournament.
That's fair, but those are like easier tournaments.
I don't know, Beijing.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see, but I'm putting, far more interest on her than I would
Yeah,
You know.
I mean, it means it will be like interesting to watch what she does like more closely, I guess.
I think another kind of someone else worth mentioning just quickly is Paolini. Still decent, as much as we might fight it.
As you might fight it, time.
No, you're the one who just said even worse than Paolini.
I didn't say that actually. You literally that's putting words in my mouth. But yeah, she.
No, they were in your mouth. They just didn't quite come out.
Anyways, she had a great week in Cincy actually. I mean, she played a horrible match against Goff, but she actually managed to win it, which is the difficult part. And then
is she the only player who can do that?
Basically, yeah.
Because 3-0 head-to-head against Coco is not easy, and like the only player, well, this year, sorry, it's 3-0. The only player who has like similar such runs of that was Iga. No one else is really able to beat her that many times in a row consistently like that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's basically just pure grit. Just be like, okay, I'm playing super bad. I'm still fighting. I'll still be there. I'll still match you for like intensity, and you won't outcompete me the way you do like so many others.
Yeah, maybe we need you know what? Instead of a mixed doubles, blah blah blah, fast four, whatever. I want a scam off, a grand scam, if you will. It's scam. Leylah Fernandez, Coco Gauff, Bianca Andreescu, peak Danielle Collins, fueled by the pure hatred that she used to have when she was not just playing for Czechs.
That she has for Iga still.
Yeah. Paolini. Who else? Beatrice Haddad-Maia. That's what I need. Yeah. You start the matches at like 1 p.m. because they're going to go on for 3 or 4 hours. That I would watch. Make it happen. A grand scam. And then I guess last notable players from the swing. Maybe we've missed some people. Most of the men are crap. Like,
I mean, yeah. Like, are we going to do a Hachanov segment? Like, actually, he's pretty similar to Shelton in the sense that he also always takes opportunities. So I guess it was a final of Opportunists, and you know.
Which is always what you like to see.
Sure.
You know, I love to see a guy who's just, gone out there and made the most of himself.
That's your type.
No, it's not.
I'm kidding. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah, I hate them. But like you'd be lucky to catch a Medvedev match or a Tsitsipas match because you'd have to be tuning in on Mondays and Tuesdays.
They have been so bad, like even worse, like we spent the year talking about how bad they've been, and they're still digging, like what are we looking at, like top 50 at the end of the year, like it's
Benjamin Bonzi has wins over both of them this summer.
Sure. Why would he not? I mean,
but it really does, like the ATP is a lot of guys who are just kind of in free fall now, and I wonder whether it's you'll come back thing or whether it's a permanent thing. Even just talking about like Hurkacz, he's like number 80 or something right now.
Yeah,
is he going to come back from that, or is that him? Is he old now?
He's injured.
Is there a new guard coming in?
It's an injury thing.
Yeah, fine. But like this, what I mean, I think this changing of the guard of the guys who are like people who are the players who are like second best, it sneaks up on you, and it kind of happened with the women as well. That like. Pliskova goes away for an injury, but then she comes back and she's not as good as the players who are playing now, and she can't quite find her. Yeah, so I think. By the way, I was thinking about Azarenka yesterday. I have not seen her hit a tennis ball this year. I didn't know she was still playing. But I think this kind of stuff you kind of expect. Oh yeah, they'll come back, but there's no guarantee, and like maybe Medvedev never wins a title again.
What really gets me about Medvedev is he seems like maybe a bit delusional about the whole thing. I mean, at least the way he talks about it in press, it's a little bit like, well, I just need like that was before Canada and Cincy, where like I think I can still like play very well. I just need like one quarterfinal, and that will like set me back up. And it's like, is that going to get you back to number 3 or number 4? Really?
Also, does he need that? Because he's played quite a few finals since Rome.
Yeah.
He was in the final of Halle.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah, and she was really proud about that, like at Wimbledon. She's like, oh yeah, I lost to Boomsy, but it's fine because I made the final of Halle. Okay.
Yeah, so maybe he's just having fun, which is fine, and like I'm super happy for him for that, because that sounds like a great life. But he's had opportunities. Let's not pretend you're not Naomi getting those horrible early round draws.
Mm-hmm.
You've had opportunities. It's so weird because I swear to God, like, as God is my witness, that guy was a good tennis player when he was at his best.
Yeah. Very good,
and
even.
It just, yeah, very good. And it's just, I think yesterday, it's only because I was on the bus and had to kill time, I was watching his doubles match against Djokovic and Danilovic. And I think it's like, they're both on Ash, and like last time they were both on Ash, it was in the US Open final, and then last time they were both on Ash, it was in the US Open final. It's like, it's really bizarre because you don't look at that match and think, oh, this is a match between, like, this is a high profile mixed doubles match, because both of these guys have played multiple slam finals against each other on this court. It didn't feel like that. It felt like Djokovic and then some others.
Yeah. And Tsitsipas, I mean, the whole like coaching, that thing, it's
the break up, the break back down again,
as
well with his coaches and his girlfriend as well.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous. It doesn't feel like we're in this discussion anymore. It's like, okay, I'm just going to assume that it's just going to happen that way every single time now, because clearly that's the pattern, and at his big age he's probably like not ever breaking away from it, so sure.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, but like a waste of a talent, and like this guy probably has an unhealthy presence in your life if you literally can't fire him for good. It is a bit of a sad time when these guys start getting washed, and they start doing things that only washed people do.
I mean, like, if you think about it, if we had started this podcast like 4 years ago, we would have been talking about them like all the time as like contenders, as like maybe the future of tennis even. Can you imagine that? Yeah.
But this is I think this is my point, is that actually this goes away quicker than you realise.
For sure.
Like in I don't know, if we had if we managed to keep the podcast going for 3 years' time, are we saying I can't think of someone who's youngish now. Are we looking at, it won't be Andreeva, but who's decent now? We could be looking at Rybakina and saying, what a shame.
Yeah.
Or Sabalenka, what a shame. I mean, people have started writing off Sabalenka's career.
Sabalenka's done too much for me to ever think like, she's done too much and she's done too well for. Like, if she retired today, I'd be like, probably could have gotten more out of herself, but still, like, really great. Yeah. Great
career, but I think sometimes you get caught up in that and the trajectory that they seem to be on, and you think, oh my god, she's going to have 10 years of only ever losing in a semi-final of a slam, and then the rest of the, Anyway, I will say what I said very, very privately. I'm going to say it publicly now. Here's my prediction. When they both retire, Naomi Osaka will have more slam titles than Sabalenka.
Which, I mean, for the record, she does now. That's the present situation.
Yeah, she has. Sorry, she'll have not fewer. So I'll allow them to be drawn.
Okay, so that just means I'm predicting Sabalenka to win one more slam.
No, it means I'm predicting Naomi to win one more slam, and Sabalenka might win two.
Right.
I don't think Naomi's never going to win another one. See, now I'm doing the thing that I just talked about people doing, which is like struggling with the fact that it's time to move on. I think she's going to win another one, even if it's an old lady slam.
Okay.
But it must have felt this way, people must have felt this way with Azarenka.
Yeah.
Like, imagine in that moment.
Yeah, and I mean,
and then being like, 2 slams.
Yeah, and to be fair, she did actually never win another slam, but
yeah. So I think I always say this. Most players win way fewer slams than you think they will. Some players win way more. So it will be like Iga 17, Sabalenka 4 type thing. Maybe not quite that extreme, but you get the point. that we tend to kind of think that they're going to spread out a lot more nicely.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about that when we were like doing actually predictions for those. I don't remember what I said about like any of them.
Oh yeah, that's good. Maybe worth going back to. Any other players who are irrelevant to the US Open but would be nice to talk about? Haven't heard out of any Czechs recently.
Altman.
Ah, yes. How do you say his name?
Terence Altman.
Okay.
His name.
There's no L.
Really? Altman?
I think it's Atman.
Atman?
Atman.
His name doesn't really sound French, is my thing, so okay.
Yeah, I think it might be. It sounds like Algerian.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Well, Terence feels very French.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, what was he? He was a qualifier, right?
Yeah, he was.
And he made it all the way to the semi-finals in Cincinnati. Pokemon cards in hand. I mean, it's not often I think a scrub is like adorable and worth rooting for. A man, that is. But oh, what a cutie.
And it's funny because, like, one of the few things I knew about him is like his terrible temper. That's what like really attitude-wise. That's what he was known for. Like, I remember he played Gasquet on Chatrier this year, and first of all he lost, which in and of itself pretty bad and shocking. But beyond that, he was like terrible attitude. Like literally playing this like older French guy that everyone likes, and who's playing his last match, and he was like being like super annoying like, the whole time. He was booed, of course, as a French player on Chatrier. Like really bad rep on that end, and now he's like, I mean, I guess these results are making him, people aren't like who they are on tennis courts like all the time. I don't know. It's not always like representative of them as a person. It doesn't mean that like.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I think Shapovalov is like a lovely guy.
Yeah.
But he is a bitch on court.
Yeah. No, but yeah, and he seemed. I mean, I guess he was just too happy and like too. The week was just too good for him to not be like super like ecstatic and even like sweet and giving Yannick a birthday present.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna cry. I especially tend to joke about these like scrubs being let to do, getting too emboldened and making it all the way to the semi-finals and finals and all this kind of nonsense. But it is like genuinely, that's so lovely. You could tell every match how much he was like, oh my god, what's going on? I don't belong here. He kept winning. He's never seen so many people before.
Yeah. And
the ranking boost and the prize money boost is genuinely, the commentators love to say it is life-changing for him, because all you have to do now, I mean, the whole setup of how you have to plan and think about existing and playing changes from now on. The way he's going to schedule will change, but also he's now going to get main entry into the main draw of slams. He's not playing the US Open, but the ones after that for a little while. And if you can just like maintain that level, that does just do so much for people. I mean, the reason people get so excited about qualifying in for slams is because even losing in the first round, it's a really big chunk of money that you don't have to worry about coming from elsewhere. And yeah, of course, the biggest, most exciting thing about him is the whole Pokemon thing. I loved that. I thought giving the Pokemon cards to other players is so sweet, and the way he picked it out the night before, the one that he was going to give to Yannick.
Yeah, his tennis was actually very impressive.
But he is a basher, right?
It's hard to tell. I guess so. He was like super aggressive on his forehand like all week. He was hitting it at like 90 miles per hour like every single time, and I mean, Rune and I guess Fritz just couldn't like really do anything about it. Like, and even Sinner in that first set, he could not get a foothold in Hartmann's service games because he was just serving too well and doing too well on the plus one and stuff. So yeah, he really had to go get him in a tiebreak, I guess. So that was actually like maybe there is more to come, I guess.
maybe. The racket will talk. Anyway, it is nice to have like your moment, you know. When your career's over, you can always remember that. And for some players, a Cincinnati semi-final is nothing, but for some, it's like that's a career-defining moment. How lovely is that? Yeah. I'm feeling very soft. Whereas if he hadn't done the whole Pokemon thing, I probably would have been shitting on him.
Yeah. Or like on the tour
Yeah, but he's not playing US Open, but we'll hopefully see him another point. It's been like a nice year for French surprise semi-finalists.
So that's the only kind of success we can have, I guess. Sure.
Yeah. Well, Caroline Garcia is going to win the US Open. She's a good example of what we were talking about. What was it? Is it 3 years ago?
Yeah.
She was close enough a favourite, top 5 favourite, at least, maybe top 3. And she should have won that tournament. And now it's like a goodbye.
Yeah. It's over. Literally, it's over. Yeah.
Life can happen really fast, man. I think that's that for players who were stood out to me, at least. I didn't get to watch too much tennis over the last month or so, partially because of the timings of it and like the nature of where we live. So not like loads of detail to be gone into on many of these players, just the ones that we kind of happened to pick out. I think a big takeaway, I think overall, something that I want to talk about, and I know you kind of mentioned, was the scheduling of everything. So we've got this new... It's the first year that Cincinnati and Canada have been 2 years, right? 2 months? 2 weeks?
Felt like 2 months for sure, yeah.
It felt like 2 years. It felt like 2 years, but it was actually 2 weeks. They were 2 weeks long, but they weren't actually 2 weeks long, were they?
No,
They're both like
12
days. 12 days, yeah. And I think it was as close to a disaster as it could get, really. Everything is more. More days are better. Let's get more people in seats. More. And then you get all the good players pulling out of Canada. I'm sorry, but Sabalenka, Iga, Carlos, Yannick all didn't play, right?
Iga played.
Oh, she was just crap. Okay. Sabalenka, Carlos and Yannick didn't play at Canada. And I saw a brief snippet of an interview with the guy who owns Canada or whatever. I think it was Justin Trudeau, maybe someone else. And he said, it's a real shame that they didn't play our tournament. And it's because am I going to do 24 straight days of tennis before going to the US Open? Am I going to do that? No, I'm not going to do that. Very few players are interested in doing that. And the more that they stretch this shit out to make more money and have more time in the year, the more it's going to backfire. Players are just going to skip. The players that they want to show up are going to skip it. Yeah. And then I will say this last thing. The thing that really got me was that I was trying to hold one eye open to watch the final of Canada, and there were main draw matches being played in Cincinnati. There's a final of a 1,000 going on, and there are main draw 1,000 finals in a different country, in a different city. What the hell is that? And then they have to do all this performance buy nonsense, and then they take away the performance buy because those players pull out, and it's like inevitable that they're going to pull out. Like, did anyone do well in both tournaments?
The closest was Shelton. Made the quarters in Cincy and won Canada.
And like Jessica Bouzes-Monero as well.
No.
I think she made the round of 16 or something like that in both of them.
I think she kind of flopped in. Oh, no, she did flop, I think, in Cincinnati.
No, let me check this. I think she beat Pegula. No. Okay. Anyway, yes. What are your thoughts on the scheduling? Do you think this has gone well?
No, I mean, of course not. It's just a mess, and I mean, even like conceptually, like Thursday final and then Monday final, like not even like none of the tournaments can have like a final on a normal day at a normal time. Like Sinner Alcaraz was at 3 p.m. local time on a Monday.
I saw a different account get like a non-tennis Twitter account get a hit tweet by tweeting that. Because there are obviously people who don't watch tennis all the time. They're tuning in because they want to, or they're trying to tune in because they want to watch Sinkaraz because they know all about it. And it's at 3 p.m. on a Monday. I mean, you couldn't write it. Like, that is the way. Those are the hours that we watch tennis. Those aren't the hours that real people living real lives in the world watch tennis.
Yeah, it's basically a disaster, but obviously they won't change it, you know.
Do you think so? Because I will say, okay, so on top of the timings nonsense, and everyone pulled out of Canada, everyone then pulled out of Cincinnati during the tournament because it was 7 billion degrees and they're all so tired and everything. I think everything was awful. Like, if you're not going to change it because of this, then you're just stubborn.
Oh yeah, I mean, basically what they'll say is the contracts have been signed. They're still making more money than before. And there you go.
Okay. Yeah.
Just literally like a way worse product for the fans and for players, but they're making more money, so I guess it's fine.
Yeah. Bouzas Monero made the round of 16 in Cincinnati and lost to Sabalenka.
Oh wow!
After making the quarterfinal in Canada.
Queen, I guess.
I think she's good.
Yeah.
And then of course we've got the thing about on top of that, after having fucking a month worth of 1,000 tournaments back to back, we then go straight into this mixed doubles non-exhibition thing. So Iga and Carlos are on a private jet to try and get to New York in time to play their mixed doubles match. I mean, it's just like, what are we doing? It's not it's not my problem, not my fault. What are you doing? I warned Sam in advance that this is going to be a very complaint heavy episode because I was feeling a lot of annoyance, and I don't know, it feels exacerbated by this swing, and maybe it's just because of a kind of general anger I have towards like the way American tournaments feel produced. I reckon lots of people have it with Wimbledon, that they probably hate that vibe and that energy, and sometimes I get it as well. I feel it's like sickly, but I feel it when I'm watching. I felt it a lot when I was semi watching these 1000s and then going into US Open. I have a few other points, kind of complaints, something like that. The US Open announced a dating show. Is that happening? Does anyone know about this? What's going on here?
I read the headlines and didn't click on the article, so.
But I don't know. Like, it felt like everyone saw it and was like, "This is awful," and I haven't seen anything about it since.
It's probably like a bit of content. This will be like a 4-minute video on like the US Open website.
No, I think they were like episodes.
Episodes, really?
Yeah. I think we'll have to do some investigating. But basically, I mention this because it's a larger point, a larger gripe I have. I started a TikTok account to post some of my edits on. And I am so far from being like a good editor in the context of TikTok tennis edits. There are so many great edits on there with hundreds of thousands of likes and views of people who aren't otherwise going to be tuning in to your fucking Monday 3 p.m. finals. But it's free marketing. No one is watching those instead of watching matches, right? Just because it's got a 10-second, not even 10-second, a tenth of a second clip from your tournament in it, people aren't going to watch that in the place of watching your match. It's just an advert. It's just a free advert that someone has edited for free. And what do Wimbledon do, and probably some other tournaments and companies as well? They go on and they complain about copyright, and they get these videos taken down. And I find this so bizarre, and I've said this just for years, that you're shooting yourself in the foot by removing these clips. It's those people who are trying to get engagement baiting on Twitter by posting little clips of like Raducanu telling a baby to shut up. That is free advertising. People aren't watching that in the place of the match. those edits that those teenage girls make, expertly craft, they're not watching that in lieu of watching your match. And they're just removing free marketing and replacing it with fucking shit like this US Open dating show that is like maybe some 57-year-old guy has sat in a conference room and said, you know what, the youths like Love Island, let's give them another Love Island.
That's literally what
No!
that's what it was. Like,
Don't do that. Let the children market to the children, right? You don't have to pay anyone. Let the kids do their cool, trendy edits with the sound that's in fashion right now and leave it be, right? It pisses me off like crazy. Another thing that I saw, did you watch, this is semi-related, but it's now, I wrote it down at the time, but it's now so old that you won't remember what I'm talking about. Did you watch that video Eva Lise made in the car park where she was like, who is parking this badly?
oh yeah, I think
Did you see that?
I think
yeah, and
it
it ended up being Flavio Cobolli.
Oh no, I didn't
Okay.
get the end.
So there was like, parts of it. She said, whose car is this? This is awful parking. And then, sometime later it was revealed to be Flavio Cobolli. This is great content. And like, no one was asked to do anything. This is just funny authenticity. This is just like the players being themselves.
Yeah.
And instead what we've got is like marketing execs going like, ooh, let's make videos of Raducanu and Alcaraz together and let's make a fucking dating show. Just like, let people do your jobs for you because they're better at it. And let me keep my fucking TikTok videos.
Yeah.
I think this is insane. Like, someone needs to go to these organizations and say, like, you aren't going to do better marketing than the people because it just comes across as authentic. And people love authenticity more than anything. Like,
It's not,
in this context.
yeah, it's
right?
not even conscious. No, literally, that's how it happens. The videos that they like just end up coming across as authentic because they are.
Yeah. And you know what? I hate that I have to argue with Oscar Piastri, Max Verstappen fans on Twitter who now all of a sudden are experts on the career of Yannick Sinner. Like, I don't like that. But they have come from somewhere, and they've come from the ooh, he's so handsome edits of Yannick on TikTok, and they've gone, okay, maybe I could have an unproblematic fave in a different sport. And they've started watching your sport. I'm not pro it for my own personal good, but if you're wanting to get eyeballs on tennis, there's a huge crowd of people with a lot of time who will sift through TikTok edits and get so obsessed and then start watching your sport. That's the advice I give to you. Don't get the fucking old men out of the ideas room and stop pitching crap like I mean, that was just
You know
the
what?
most insane shit.
I think Alcaraz Sinner is like, it's the first TikTok rivalry.
Is what?
It's the first TikTok rivalry.
Of any sport?
No, in tennis.
Okay. Yeah.
It's so
I don't know,
so many edits. So and they get so many likes. Literally, I just saw like earlier today, like a random like dramatic edit of the Cincinnati final between Sinner and Alcaraz, with like a very dramatic music,
which was 3 minutes long. So
yeah, and it got like 70,000 likes, probably like 200 now. There's like no limits to this, and they'll keep doing it because they'll keep playing matches, and the narrative will keep like filling upon itself. And
yeah. People, there needs to be some level of understanding, and I'm old. Like me saying this, it's coming from. I'm even out of touch with the kids who probably say like, no, what we really need is the US Open to be selling customized Labubus. I can still see that this is the way you're going to have to embrace this editing culture, clips being uploaded to TikTok and Twitter and YouTube. You're going to have to embrace that if you want your sport to grow in the modern time. And I don't believe in growth, but anyway.
And they keep wondering, like, how do we get like the tennis viewing market to be like younger? That's how.
Yeah.
Literally, let them make them the edits, and you'll be fine.
It's so stupid. That's such a good point. Yeah. Yeah. Embrace the uwu. Let's get the hashtag trending. Hashtag embrace the uwu.
The hashtag is being, completely dead, but yeah.
Oh no, hashtags are still in. No?
I mean, on TikTok, yeah. If you like Sin Karaz, that's how it works, but not on Twitter.
Yeah, that is my final gripe. I think that I just I see this. Yeah, we'll be back. I think any other things kind of need to.
I mean, I guess we ended up just not talking about Sin Cara and Shantek Paolini.
I mean, what's there to say? Alcaraz and Sinner are way better than everyone else, even on hard courts. Actually, Alcaraz is having a really excellent year.
Yeah,
consistent.
And I do think, for him doing well in Cincinnati is pretty big because, well...
But we'll talk, but the point is that he's relevant, so I think we'll talk about him quite a lot in the US Open.
Yeah, of course.
The general consensus is that they are so much better than everyone else, and then the Cincinnati final was like a slightly comic affair because it's all everyone had been waiting for. And actually, I think we mentioned this. Was it in Wimbledon, something like that? It feels like the whole tournament's building up to this one thing.
Yeah.
But if that one thing doesn't happen, or if it's crap, then the whole tournament was just
worthless.
So yeah, congrats to Carlos for winning the Cincinnati title. He's pretty close to getting the full set of 1000s now. And is he closer than Iga?
Egan is like Wuhan, Dubai, Canada, and I think
Beijing. She's won.
Yeah,
she's won Beijing.
Yeah.
Oh, was the 2023? Okay, right. Okay, yeah, and so it would be interesting to see a little
and Alcaraz needs what
race between them.
Canada, and
Paris Bercy, which he's never
Shanghai.
going to win. Shanghai.
And Bercy, yeah.
Yeah. So they've both got 3 left.
They've
both got 3 left.
Yeah.
Okay. So could be kind of there's like a sort of subtle rivalry going on between them. It's not a rivalry, but there are kind of lots of parallels between them where it's quite interesting to kind of compare their trajectories and their careers. But we will be back hopefully very soon to preview the US Open, which has started, but actually starts on Sunday, which is still too early because it should start on Monday.
Yeah.
But we will hopefully, speak to you again for that, and then do as much as possible or as much as is warranted throughout the US Open.
Yeah.
I don't got shit else to do. Holidays are over for this year. The sun started to set early. I'm getting into winter mode, unfortunately.
Oh well.
And I do love the US Open, actually. For all I don't tell it, but
it is enjoyable for sure.
Okay. You're on outro.
That's true. I'm on outro duty as always. Thank you for listening for the first time in a while.
Or watching.
Yeah. We do hope you missed us and you enjoyed this episode. We shall be back very soon this week to preview the US Open, talk about the draw, to tell you about our very famous power rankings and prediction, all that fun. So yeah, thank you and see you soon. Bye.